GrowthBook is a warehouse native experimentation platform, or A/B testing platform. As such, we don't actually store the event data by default. You actually send it to your existing event tracker. That could be Google Analytics or RudderStack or whatever you have. And then GrowthBook connects to that data and pulls in the results into GrowthBook. So when you set up GrowthBook, you create an SDK connection. And when you do that, there's this area here called tracking callback. And this is where you fire the event that a user has seen an experiment and then record which variant they were exposed to. So this is on the assignment side. And we do have some built-in sample code here. Like if you're using different event trackers, we'll automatically give you some of the code that you can use to make that easier for you. So when you create a feature flag, it'll automatically call this tracking callback anytime there's an experiment rule on the feature flag. It'll also fire automatically for visual experiments. So that's the assignment side. So let's take a look at how that data gets back to GrowthBook. So when you first connect GrowthBook to your data, you need to add a data source. And so this could be something like, GA4 data or, segment data to a Redshift cluster or BigQuery or Snowflake. We support all of the major SQL databases. Once you create that connection, we'll ask you what kind of event tracker that you're using. And the reason we ask for this is because we'll know the shape of that data. So we'll pre-create some of the SQL queries that will pull the assignment information out of that data source. If you do have something custom or you want to adjust that query, you can do this at any time. So let's take a look at one of these data sources. And we have here under the experiment assignment queries, we can see that we have two different assignment queries, one for anonymous users and one for logged in users. And here's the SQL that is used for this. If this is not returning, so one of the things that might happen is this query is actually wrong. So we go over here to edit query, we can click customize, and then we'll go up here and click test query. Now, if you don't see any results when you click test query, this needs to be adjusted. So we need to know which users saw the experiment. So you can think of this as the analogous to that tracking callback. This is the other side of that tracking callback. Like, how do we pull this data back out of your data warehouse? By default, this needs to return an identifier, a timestamp, the experiment that the user saw, and then the variant that they were exposed to. All of the other variables here that are returned are used as dimensional data, so that you can slice this report by any of these attributes later on. And because you can do it in the assignment query, it makes it a lot more efficient. Okay, so that's one half of the SQL that is used to generate an experiment report. The other side is the metrics. So there's two ways to add metrics, just adding regular metrics and also fact tables. So fact tables are the more efficient way to do it. We recommend to use a fact table if you have that option. And a fact table is basically a query that can return multiple columns. So for instance, here's one from Google Analytics that returns the events. And this way we can then have events like purchase or button click as different event types, and we can pull them all out of one query instead of having multiple queries per metric. So here we've defined a SQL query that will pull out the event type, and then we have the columns that are returned, and we see here event name is marked as a filterable column. So if we add a new metric, we can say, add a metric here of like purchase, and we can add where the event name is purchase. On the right here, you can see some example code of how this would actually work. So where event name is purchase. I'm not going to add this right now, but so what we do is we take the assignment query and we combine it with the metric query to show you the experiment query. So if you are looking in your test and you don't see any data, or it says no data yet, the first thing, it'll say view queries to kind of figure out the problem. It'll show you an error here, but this big query here is combined of those two queries, the assignment query and the metric query. So likely, if you're not seeing data, you have an error in one of those two places. So go take a look.